Hey there, Cindy May here. Welcome to another episode of the Smart Marketing for Small Nonprofits podcast. As always, I hope you find this information to be helpful for you and your nonprofit. Now, before diving into today's topic, I wanted to leave you with, of course, another marketing quote of the day. And that is, branding is what people say about your nonprofit when you're not in the room. Important to remember. Have a great day.
You're listening to the Smart Marketing for Small Nonprofits podcast, episode number 61.
Welcome to the Smart Marketing for Small Nonprofits podcast, providing insights on how to strategically promote your organization and its mission in a way that produces results. It's all about empowering nonprofits so that they can make the impact they want and the world needs. And now, here's your host, Cindy May.
Well, hey there, and welcome back, or let me just welcome you if you're a new listener. Either way, I am truly thankful that you are here. And speaking of being thankful, happy Thanksgiving week for those of you in the U.S. I so love this time of year, and this year, I've got to say, it feels particularly meaningful for my family. The reason why is because our kiddos seem to have grown up and are flying the nest. My son just started his first postgraduate job, and this year my daughter will be spending Thanksgiving with her boyfriend and his family. I'm of course so proud of my kiddos and happy for them both, but it's also made me realize how holidays like Thanksgiving are gonna matter so much more to me and my hubby in the coming years ahead. We're right on the verge of being real empty nesters, and I don't know, I suspect that big family-oriented holidays are going to play a pretty big role on the calendar pretty soon because, I won't be seeing my kiddos every day like I am so incredibly used to doing. It makes me wistful, to be honest, but I'm very happy too to see them become the people they were meant to be, and it really does fill my heart with happiness. I'm sure many of you can probably relate. So how about you? Are you looking forward to a big family gathering with turkey and all the trimmings, or maybe getting together with friends, or even just taking a nice long holiday weekend? That is just so lovely, right? Whatever it is you have planned, I hope you and yours enjoy this week very, very much. And whatever it is that you're up to, I know it's going to make this week super busy. So thanks again for spending a little time with me today. I promise I'll be sharing useful information for you and your nonprofit. But before we dive in, I've got two quick reminders for you. Our Mission Marketing School mini course that includes step-by-step details on how to put together a highly effective end-of-year email fundraising campaign. And I mean one that generates a whole lot of donations for your nonprofit during this prime time of giving. Well, it's only going to be available through the end of this month. So if you haven't got your end of year email fundraising campaign planned just yet and would like a simple, easy to follow, quick, and very strategic process to get your year-end email fundraising campaign ready to go, be sure to check out this month's Mission Marketing School class. You can find all the details on my website at cindymaymarketing.com. And if you'd like some one-on-one support and encouragement from your peers, which is always so incredibly wonderful, please be sure to join us in the Smart Marketing for Small Nonprofits Facebook group. Our little group is growing, I've got to say, and the conversations have been helpful and inspiring, and I really would love for you to join us. All right, let's get to today's topic, and it's all about social media in the coming year. As we all know, social media is just part of the world we live in nowadays, and it offers nonprofits the opportunity to enhance awareness and stay engaged in real time with those interested in your mission and need of your support. So that makes it incredibly important that we keep a pulse on what's working in the world of social media. So we're going to take a look at what the experts say will be the trends, old and new, going into 2020, and a couple of recent changes on social media platforms, particularly Facebook and Instagram, that you might have noticed or just need to know about. So let's start with those trends first. And the good news is that in a lot of ways, everything old is new again, and it's very likely that you won't need to start learning about new platforms, but just enhance what you're already doing. So let's dive in. First of all, we need to absolutely get rid of the myth that you need to be everywhere all the time on social media. Not every trend needs to be jumped on. And this is good news. Yes, TikTok grew dramatically in the past year, and that's great. But the question is, does your nonprofit need to be creating 15-second music videos with animation and special effects for an audience that tends to skew 25 years and younger? Maybe it does, and if that's the case, you should look at TikTok. But if not, don't drive yourself crazy trying to master a new format that might not even speak to the people you're trying to reach. So where should you be investing your time in terms of social media? This is where you need to be thinking of who your nonprofit's ideal audience member or members are and where they go. Age, income, and gender can play a big role in this. Here's some quick stats from the website Brand Watch, which published 126 amazing social media statistics and facts. They did this summer. So to put this in context, remember that the entire Earth has about 7.7 billion people. So more than half the world's population uses social media, about 4.4 billion. But on average, social media users engage with 7 different platforms. The biggest one they use is still Facebook, with more than 2.3 billion active users. The other members of the Billion Users Club are Instagram, YouTube, and messaging services like WhatsApp and WeChat. By contrast, Twitter is about 330 million. They have 330 million users, and Pinterest caters to about 265 million users. By the way, Twitter should be in the Billion Members Club, but here's an interesting little factoid. There's 1.3 billion Twitter handles out there, but close to half of them created an account and then left before ever sending a single tweet. So when you start measuring active monthly users on Twitter, it drops down to 330 million. But just because a platform has a smaller overall audience doesn't mean they aren't a fit for you. A whopping 79% of all U.S. adults who are online are on Facebook, which makes it kind of, a natural for most marketing efforts. However, if your target audience is younger, 1 out of 4 teens cite Instagram as their favorite social media, and something like 73% of American youths are on Snapchat. And going to the other end of the age spectrum, don't assume that just because someone is a baby boomer or older that they don't use social media. According to Forbes magazine, 82% of boomers who are online do in fact use social media and have about 4 platforms that they are active on. The leading ones are, of course, Facebook and LinkedIn. So once you figure out what platforms will reach your target audiences, the next step is one I have been preaching about year in and year out for ages. And I don't think that this will ever change, honestly. Quality content. Your audience will not engage, share, comment, like, or watch unless you give them a reason to, and quality content is the key. And I think it is truer today now more than ever. Why? Well, have you heard the term digital detox? I'm sure you probably have. Social media grew so fast and kind of took over a lot of our free time so quickly that I think that there was just bound to be a reassessment. We worried we were spending too much time in a virtual digital life than in real life. Were we too attached to our screens? And then paradoxically, we were so connected to so many more people, and yet we were losing our social skills in one-on-one settings. Now, we all felt the shift happening a few years ago when we realized we didn't need to post multiple times a day. In fact, we didn't need to post every single day. We didn't need sheer quantity, but we did need quality. So what do I mean by quality content? Well, for your nonprofit, it means creating content that is inspirational and informative and authentic. It no longer has to be super brief, and many social media platforms are allowing longer content, as I'm sure you've noticed. Think mini blogs about what you were doing and why you do it. The obvious exception on the length rule is Twitter, which still has that 280 80 character limit, but then again, you should probably be using Twitter more for announcements and advocacy and less for meaningful or inspirational stories. Quality also means video, not hyper-produced slick video, but simply using Facebook Live with your smartphone to capture authentic moments. It means sticking to that 80-20 rule of providing useful or inspiring information at least 80% of the time and limiting the donation ask to 20% or less. I just mentioned authentic moments before, and that leads us to another trend that's worth following, which is conversation writing. The big plus for social media is that it isn't formal and your posts need to capture that conversational feeling. Just think about how you write posts or send emails to your friends. Your organization's voice should be similar. Not only will it make your organization seem more approachable, authentic, and engaging, it will also make it easier for your organization to be found. And what am I talking about there? Well, more and more people are using voice-activated devices. Think Alexa and Siri for their searches. And the way we ask for information when talking is totally different than the way we type a search in a Google bar. More conversational content makes it easier for voice-activated searches to find you, so be sure to keep that in mind when you are creating your social media post. Another big trend in social media is something called UGC, or user-generated content. Basically, this is content that you don't create, but your audience does. It's letting your followers on your social media platforms act as an ambassador for you. Now, the gold standard of UGC goes back a couple of years, the Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm sure you can remember that. All those people raising funds for ALS by dumping ice on themselves and then challenging others to do it. Now, you don't have to aim to be that viral in order to get some good user-generated content. Every time someone does a mini campaign on your organization's behalf on Facebook, that's user-generated content. If you create a Facebook group or start a hashtag campaign on Twitter or Instagram, that will generate user content. Asking for reviews on your organization or on social media pages creates user content. And you can even out and out ask for UGC. Having a Forma Gala? Encourage folks to take selfies or post videos of themselves at the event. Running an animal shelter? Ask those adopting cats or dogs to post a picture of themselves and their new best friend and tag your organization. Think about your organization, what is important to it, and then ask your followers to comment or share or create a picture or post and help you get the word out there. But all of that engagement leads us to the last trend that I want to talk about today. And once again, it's not a brand new thing, but it has even more relevance in 2020. And that is monitoring your social media platforms. Don't post it and forget it. Scheduling tools are great, but I've seen so many nonprofits get lost in just posting it, forgetting it, and then not tending to it. And that really doesn't work in the social media space. There's a bunch of reasons for this. And one is that people are going to be reaching out to you more and more on direct channels. So you might have someone who wants to know more about your organization, but they don't want to do it in front of the whole world. It's likely that they're going to send you a direct or instant message, and they're going to expect a response pretty quickly. The other reason to monitor, I'm sorry to say, but it is less positive. It's to make sure that people aren't using your platform to engage in posts that are off topic at best and at worst contain hateful speech or false information or fake news. We don't want that to happen. I know it sounds awful that I have to warn you about that, but it's just a fact of life in the world of social media nowadays. There are people that thrive on negativity or spreading conflict, and honestly, you don't need that in your nonprofit social media feed. So be clear about your social media policies. You might even want to post them in your About or Profiles section and then stick to them. That doesn't mean if someone has a legitimate concern about your organization, you should delete their comment and ban them from your group or your page. In those cases, just be respectful in your comments, but then encourage them to contact you, directly through a message or even get on the phone and talk with them. So those are some of the general trends to be on the lookout for in 2020. And now I want to quickly touch on some recent changes you might have noticed on social media. It's just 2 little changes that I want you to be aware of, and I'll be quick about it. The first recent change is actually pretty simple. Although it might not seem that way when you first encounter it, it has to do with scheduling posts on Facebook. Now, if you don't schedule posts on Facebook, or if you have a third-party scheduler like Hootsuite, then this isn't going to affect you. But if you are planning on scheduling some posts, maybe, for the upcoming holiday, directly on Facebook, you need to know that Facebook will no longer let you schedule posts directly from your home page. That option is now gone. What you need to do is go to Publishing Tools, and if you go to your top navigation on your Facebook page, you'll see a More drop-down menu, and that's where you'll find Publishing Tools. You click on it and you'll see a grid with all your published posts. You can then look on the left-hand menu and find Schedule Post. It will either show your post you've already scheduled, or it might have nothing on it if you don't have any upcoming scheduled posts. You would then click the Create button and you'll be able to create your post and then schedule it there, just like you used to do on your home page. One other word of caution with this: when you're creating your post, it won't automatically show you how the post is going to look the way it did when you were scheduling from the home page. However, just like on the home page, there is this nifty little preview button that you can click to see how the post will look. And I'd highly suggest doing this just before you schedule your post. Okay, that's one recent change. The other one that's rolled out earlier this month has to do with Instagram. The change will allow you to have a donate button on your Instagram profile next to where you list your phone number, and it will be there permanently. Now, previously, as you nonprofit IGers know, you could only have a donation sticker in your stories, which was great, but temporary, as stories would disappear after 24 hours, right? Now the process to do this is simple or complicated based on whether you're already part of Facebook charitable giving tools. If you are, and if your Facebook and Instagram pages already are linked, it's just a matter of going into your settings, clicking on business, then donations, and then toggling on the add donate button to profile. That's easy, right? If you aren't already part of Facebook charitable giving tools, this is going to be a little bit clunkier, and it's also really too complicated to go into it fully here. So I'm going to do a super fast recap, and then I suggest you dive into your Instagram Help Center to figure it out. And I'll include a link to that on the show notes page at cindymaymarketing.com/blog/61 to help get you there. Okay, briefly. You need to be a 501c3, which really shouldn't be a problem for you if you're listening to this podcast. Your IG page needs to be a business account as opposed to a personal account. You need to submit your nonprofit's Facebook page for a community standards review if you haven't already. It's as simple as clicking a button and Facebook then does all the work. The next step is creating a donations account on Facebook, and that's where it gets a little tricky because you need to fill out the online form all at once. You can't save it in the middle of the process, and they ask for a bunch of information. Things like your nonprofit's tax ID number, a recent bank statement, and even your CEO or ED's date of birth. But once you've created the donation account, make sure your Facebook and Instagram pages are linked. And then after all that, you can go to your settings again, click on business, then donations, then toggle on the add donate button to profile. And that'll get you there. Like I said, I'll have a link to the Instagram Help Center page outlining all of this in the show notes to help you get that set up if you'd like to. So that's my take on what you need to know about in the world of social media as you get your nonprofit ready to take on the new year and make it one of the best ever. That's what I'm hoping for you this year. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will, of course, be back soon with more marketing tips, tools, and smart strategies to help you and your nonprofit connect with those who make your heart-centered missions possible. So until then, keep doing what you're doing to make the world a better place.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Marketing for Small Nonprofits podcast. Check out show notes for today's episode at cindymaymarketing.com, and we'll see you next time.